Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. Today we discuss 18 movies every clothes horse should watch from the 1930s to the 1960s. First up, this is part of a series, so if you want to see movies from the 70s to the modern era, check out this video. And for best TV shows for clothes horses, check out this one. Personally, I've quite an ambiguous relationship to vintage movies. On the one hand, I find them usually super slow and painfully boring, so I dread watching them. On the other hand, I really like the style aspects, and so I watch it just for the men's clothing. Most actors back then would wear their own, mostly tailored clothes, so it's quite cool to see the actual style they had and how they just utilize it differently in different movies. With that said, let's dive right in with our first movie from the 1930s, It Happened One Night. It came out in 1934 and was one of only 3 movies to win the Big 5 Oscars for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Screenplay. The plot of the movie is basically that a rich socialite falls in love with a no-nonsense reporter. It's a light romantic comedy, but the wardrobe of Clark Gable is quite fascinating. The film is notable for showing Gable bare-chested, which according to legend led to a drop in undershirt sales. On a more personal, what I really keep in mind from that movie is his very casual travel suit. Today when people travel, they wear sweatpants, maybe a hoodie, but back in the day, you would have a comfortable suit in a softer fabric with nice big patch pockets that would allow for a lot of storage. Particularly his chest pocket is a rather large patch pocket, which is not something you'll see today, especially not off the rack. To learn more about Clark Gable style, please check out this guide here. Next up is Top Hat from 1935. Frankly, we could have put any of the 9 movies that Fred Astaire filmed with RKO in the 30s on this list, but we chose Top Hat because, as the title implies, you see top hats and white tie outfits a lot. His full dress ensembles fit immaculately, especially when dancing, and back then, tailors would specifically adjust the sleeve pitch and the angle it was sewn on for dancers and artists who had to move their arms, so it always looked great on screen. The other outfits are also quintessentially Astaire, and they have a sense of a rumpled elegance. If you want to learn more about Astaire's style and what made it different, please check out this in-depth video here. From the 40s, definitely watch Casablanca, which came out in 1942 and is a noir drama that became really popular with people. It features Humphrey Bogart as Rick Blaine, who was involved in love and World War II and personal sacrifices for the greater good. Style-wise, Bogart's ivory dinner jacket became instantly iconic and was later on used by James Bond and Indiana Jones. Likewise, Bogart's scenes in a trench coat give him the image that most people have of him and that movie today. It also helped to really cement the trench coat into a garment piece that every man must have. By the way, we don't have a single Bond movie on this list, but if you want to learn more about James Bond's style and how you can use his style rules to implement it in your wardrobe, check out this video here. Next up is Blue Skies from 1946, which pairs Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby together. Fortunately, this film is in color, so you get a much better understanding of the different color schemes they used in their clothes. In this movie, you can also watch Astaire putting on the Ritz in his formal wear ensemble. From the 50s, you definitely want to watch Singin In The Rain from 1952, which by many is considered to be the best musical film ever. The 3 main characters, including Gene Kelly, sing and dance their way through the 1920s Hollywood silent movie areas to the talkies. You can see Kelly wearing white tie, black tie, sweaters, and a host of other stylish combinations, all of which he can dance in. Also, check out the 1953 movie The Band Wagon, which is a musical of nearly as good quality as Singin' in the Rain, but it's just less acclaimed. Not only do you get to see more of Astaire's formidable wardrobe, but you also get a glimpse at Jack Buchanan's wardrobe, who was a very stylish dresser himself. As a side note, Astaire's blue and grey ensemble towards the end of the movie was the direct inspiration for Michael Jackson in Smooth Criminal. The 1951 movie A Streetcar Named Desire, starring Marlon Brando, is a story of class conflict based on Tennessee Williams' 1947 play. From a style perspective, it's most notable for Brando wearing a t-shirt as outerwear because at the time that was strictly an undergarment. To learn more about the history of the undershirt, please check out this guide here. Legend has it that Brando wearing a t-shirt on screen led to an increase in t-shirt sales, and men started to wear it as a casual form of outerwear. Just a year later, Rebel Without a Cause starred James Dean, which catapulted him to fame, especially among American teenagers. While the film opens with Dean wearing a suit, he's best known for his red Harrington jacket paired with a t-shirt and a pair of jeans and engineer boots. To learn more about Dean's style, please check out our full feature on him here. The film Funny Face from 1957 shows once again Astaire, but now in a more seasoned age, he wears much more casual combinations, not his typical white tie outfits. In the 1957 movie Silk Stockings, Astaire really shows us what a capsule wardrobe looks like long before the term was coined. You see him combining his gray flannel trousers as well as his navy blazer with multiple different shirts and ties. Last but not least, he dons a top hat with white tie one more time. Vertigo, which was directed by the master of suspense Alfred Hitchcock in 1958, in my opinion, is a really boring, slow movie, but The Close by Jimmy Stewart really introduced the jet age into the mix. In our minds, the outfits he wears really resemble a subtle form of elegance, which I hope you can learn something from. In my opinion, a much better movie was the 1959 North by Northwest, starring Cary Grant and his famous gray flannel suit. A panel convened by GQ in 2006 concluded that it was the best suit in film history. Why? Well, he used it to run around and do everything you would expect people to do in a tracksuit these days. In fact, he looked a lot better. So who tailored this great garment? Some people say it was the Savile Row tailor Norton and Sons. Others claim it was Quintino from Beverly Hills. Sadly, we shall never know, but in any case, you have to watch that movie simply because of its style, and I promise you, it's more entertaining than many other old movies. Let's kick off the 60s with La Dolce Vita and Marcello Mastroianni. While much of the visual focus of the film lays on Annika Ekberg, Mastroianni wears a bunch of great-looking suits. They certainly have a much more clean and minimalistic approach, which is something a lot of men like these days too. Solids are paired with subtle patterns and nothing bold. Next up is Robin and the Seven Hoods from 1964, which is a mid-century musical that features the Rat Pack. While the wardrobe here does verge on being a bit too costumey, the 1960s take on the 20s is quite entertaining, even if it's a little more bold than it probably was at the time. You may even see the Rat Pack commit some style faux pas, such as wearing a belt with a waistcoat. To learn more about the 50 most common style mistakes, please get our free ebook here. Of course, you can also see some nice outfits from Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra, and we have a full style feature on him here. Bonnie and Clyde from 1967 with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway is definitely one of the more entertaining movies in my mind. The wardrobe of the film is more 1930s influenced, with some suits having a more 60s shape. Even though that's not quite accurate for the period, the styles, the colors and the patterns are quite fun to look at. Also, Beatty's hats ranging from flat caps to fedora are worth noting. The film Bullitt from 1968 features the king of cool, Steve McQueen, and even though most people remember the film for its car chasing scene, it still has some interesting, more casual clothing items. To learn more about Steve McQueen's wardrobe and what made it so special, please check out this guide here. Now, some consider the 1968 version of the Thomas Crown Affair to be the most stylish movie ever made. Personally though, I have to tell you, I prefer the more modern version with Pierce Brosnan. McQueen's outfits in this movie largely consists of three-piece suits with a flat-bottom waistcoat, a watch chain, and most importantly, the Purcell sunglasses. To learn more about this iconic piece, please check out this guide here. Last but not least, we have Luchino Visconti's movie The Damned from 1969, which shows a range of formal wear, and it's supposed to emulate the German Krupp family and their empire. In this movie, you will not only see morning wear, black tie and other outfits, but also uniforms from the Nazis. This is definitely an avant-garde production to end the series today, but it's going to be a nice transition to part 2, so stay tuned. In today's video, I'm wearing an outfit that is perfect to watch those old movies in style. It consists of a so-called TV jacket in a mustard yellow corduroy with black satin accents and a shawl collar. Rather than buttons, it has a casual satin self-tie belt. It also has turnback cuffs in satin, as well as black piped pockets on the chest as well as on the sides. Because it's closed like a robe, it doesn't have any vents. I'm combining it with a simple white shirt, as well as a pair of corduroy trousers with a tartan in dark green, black, red, and yellow. As you can see, the corduroy has about the same scale. As far as accessories go, I'm wearing a very soft, comfortable madder silk ascot from Fort Belvedere, which you can find in our shop, just like the paisley pocket square or the black silk socks. Of course, because I'm home, I'm wearing a pair of comfortable green velvet Albert slippers with a Fort Belvedere logo.